Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for tuning in with me today. So in today's video, the time has finally arrived for me to share with you my favorite makeup products of last year. The best of 2024 is here and I cannot wait. Honestly, this is always a video that I'm very excited about because I can just talk about everything that I really came to love. Now, these are not just products that I've tried out last year, but I really made sure to limit myself to only those products that were also released last year. So they are still newer on the market. And I've got to say, last year was really good for makeup. For certain categories, I mean, I have an abundance of product right here. So before we are jumping into this video, if you do end up enjoying it, why not give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and also ring the bell in order to get notified about my upcoming content. As you may know, I always do appreciate your support. So please do drop me a comment down below as well. What was your favorite beauty or makeup product of 2024? I would be extremely curious to know. And if you wish to support the channel a little bit further, I'm also going to be listing and linking all of the products that I'm about to talk about in that description box down below, alongside with my usual discount codes. So if I'm having a glance at what is right in front of me, there are quite some amazing things, so I don't want to make the intro too long. So I would say we're just going to be starting off with the primers, and I'm going to be ending it off with the lip products. And I really think that the very first product is not going to be a surprise to you at all if you've been on my channel last year. When I discovered this product, I sort of knew that this really changed my makeup routine, and I really do adore this product with my whole heart. Like, this is so great. And I'm so glad that I tried this one out. And of course, I'm talking about the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Water Powder Serum. So this one, to me, honestly, is more of a prepping step. I use this underneath my primers. You guys may know I do struggle a little bit with excessive oil right here. Usually in my T-zone, really. But this product really does do a great job in keeping my oils at bay throughout the day without drying out my skin. And that's something I definitely do appreciate about this product, you know, because a lot of these mattifying primers can be a little bit more on the drying side. But this one is just so effective in not making my T-zone look as oily at the end of my day as it would look without it. So I do think that this definitely works. I mean, you can tell I use this and I love it. And it's always sold out. So whenever this is back in stock and you want to try it, don't wait, because this is kind of like a miracle product, not just to me, apparently to a lot of people. So this sells out quite quickly. But I really have been enjoying this. And this is really something that changed my makeup game. So I'm really grateful for this product. So in terms of proper primers, you guys may know I don't love any glowy primers. So if you are looking for a glowy primer, you're definitely on the wrong channel. I'm so sorry. I like a primer that is blurring, that is mattifying. And I have 3 in front of me that I've been constantly reaching for this year, that were released last year, that I think are really great. So this one is the Laura Mercier Pure Canvas Blurring Primer. Now, good news, this does exist in a couple of different finishes. I also feel like they've got a hydrating version of this. I'm not sure if they've got something else too. This is also the travel size. I just wanted to see how I would love this product before committing to a full size, but I will say this is stunning. It's not necessarily the most intensely blurring primer out there, but if it does one thing really well, it is that it's mattifying my skin. This will cancel any shine, any glow, and I love that. And it really reminded me almost of my Hourglass Vanish Airbrush Primer. That one does feel a little bit more gel-like, whereas this one feels a little bit more like a cream, but a very nice hydrating cream, and also it does not dry out your skin, although it's mattifying. You know, and that's also one thing. I don't love something that is gonna suck the life out of my skin just for me to be mattified. This one is truly beautiful, has a beautiful formula, amazing performance, and I really have been enjoying this. Then we're gonna be moving on to the blurring primers, because you guys may know I love a good blurring primer, and this year I found 2 that are so amazing. So the very first one is by Iconic London, and it's the Velvet Smooth Pore Refining Primer. The very first time when I've tried this out, I knew I wanted to incorporate this more and more into my makeup routine, and I definitely do. In the beginning, I even put this all over my face, right? But these days, I kind of feel like I do prefer it a little bit more on targeted areas on my face. This is so beautiful. This will definitely blur the skin. And it's more of a balmy sort of texture, but without being greasy whatsoever. It's also quite nice when it comes to shine cancellation. It's amazing. It's fragrance free, which I also do appreciate about this. It's not going to break the bank. It's cute packaging. I mean, I use this a ton and I just really have been enjoying this one. So this one is really a great blurring primer for any skin type. I feel like if you have drier skin, you could also use this one because it has a little bit more of that balmy sort of texture. It's not going to dry out your skin. Again, I don't love these primers. The next one is a newer one to me, but if you've watched my channel lately, this I fell in love with straight away. This literally blew my socks off and it's just so, so good. So this is by Makeup Forever and this is the Pore Minimizer Primer. Oh my gosh. You just need a little bit of this and this will erase every pore on your face. Again, I only put this on targeted areas. I just really adore this. The only thing is that this one does contain fragrance. So if you don't like that, I will say though the fragrance is not that strong. I almost did not realize it in the beginning. I had to check the ingredient list and then I was like, oh, it actually does contain fragrance. So if you don't like that, I would recommend this one instead. But if you don't mind, this is fantastic. Again, I have the travel size, but once this is empty, I will definitely commit to a full size. And I will say, this year, I was blessed with some amazing blurring primers, but those were the top ones. I really tried to limit myself in this video here. Like, I just told myself, I can't put everything that I liked in here. I really have to see what was the tippity top, like the best of the best. So these primers were amazing. So let's move on to the next category. And usually I would move on to foundations. However, I did do an entire video on ranking all of the foundations of 2024, the ones that also came out in 2024 in a separate video. So I don't want to spoil it for you. And if you've watched that already, you may know which ones were my top 3 foundations. I'm going to be putting a card right here. Or right here, I can never remember where it is. I think it's right here. I'm going to be putting a card right here where you can click on it. I'm also going to be linking it in my description box down below in case you're interested in foundations, because there were so many foundations that I've tried last year that I just wanted to make a separate video on it, and I don't want to spoil it for those who have not watched it. So I would say let's move on to the concealer section. And the concealer section, in my opinion, it was not the best one in 2024. I don't think that there were many really amazing concealers that came out last year, but I did find 2 that are worth mentioning in this video because at the end of the day, these are the best ones that were released in 2024 that I also tried out. So my favorite one is by Bare Minerals and it's the Bare Pro All Over Skin Perfecting Matte Concealer. First off, this is gonna provide me with a lot of coverage. It has a matte finish without looking dry. So it's just so smoothing, so perfecting. Plus this has an SPF in it. And that is something that usually, I don't really see a lot in concealers. So this is something that I ended up really enjoying. I just think it's such a beautiful formula. Also, when I tried this out the very first time, I was quite like blown away and I tried this out live on camera first. And I was just like, whoa, what is this? This is actually amazing. If you don't like a matte concealer, I also have one that is a little bit more on the hydrating side that I really enjoyed. And I used this constantly. When I got this, I kept on using this, and I think it's almost empty, to be honest with you. So this one is by Raphi, and it's the concealer. For once, a product that does not have like a really long name. It's just their concealer. So they came out with this product in 2024, and I will say I immediately tried this. This was also the very first time that this brand actually caught my attention for me to actually put a purchase through. And yeah, concealer, you can always get me with a concealer, So this is in the shade 07. Now, I will say this is a little bit more hydrating, but it has like this lovely texture. And this makes my under eye look amazing. Also, this concealer is not too thin, but it's also not too thick. So I would say it's more on the thin side. but it's so skin-like, you know? It's not like one of these really, really thick concealers, like the House Labs one, although I love it, but it's a very thick concealer. This one is not that, but it provides great coverage and it just will make your under eyes look so, so, so smooth. So this is something that I would prefer using for my under eyes. And this one, I would actually use this for everything. I would use this underneath my eyes. I would use this for spot concealing. You know, this is just a little bit of a different finish and a different formula, but it's also not thick. It's a little bit more on the thinner side without being too runny, without being too thin, because that's also something that I don't like, because I feel like if a concealer is too thin, it's creasing on me. So none of these really crease on me, which is also something that I took into consideration. So almost crease proof depending on your under eye situation, because I don't like to say that something is 100% crease proof. That just does not exist, especially if you have some fine lines underneath your eyes. But all right, so let's move on to the next category. Let's move on to the setting powders. This is my favorite one out of them, and I don't have that many, to be honest. So this one is by Too Faced, and it's the Born This Way Soft Blur Flexible Finish Setting Powder. Now, first off, this packaging is so cute. It's actually so sleek. I brought this with me when I left for my holiday because I thought this is perfect. And this powder works for every occasion. It works on every foundation. This does an amazing job in setting your makeup. I just love it. It's also blurring. It's beautiful. It's more like a really amazing like skin-like powder. This is not going to make you look heavy. It's not going to make you look cakey. This is a tinted powder, so it's going to add a little bit of coverage. You know, just a little bit, not a lot. However, at some point, it's just going to melt in with my complexion products and the tint is completely gone. And I don't think it's necessarily changing the shade of my foundation. I just want to make that very clear. But when I apply it, I can always see the tint. So that's just one thing to take into consideration. But I love this powder. It's so beautiful. It's the best powder that I've tried out. I don't know if you can see this, but I think it said Too Faced on here. There was some embossment. I made a dent in mine. Like, I really, really adore this. The only downside to this is it's a little bit pricier and there's not that much product in here, okay? This comes with 4.8 grams of product, which isn't that much product. The next powder that I really came to love, and I think this was a release of 2024, at least they had recently added some more shades, and I actually purchased the rose shade. It has not arrived yet, but I really want that rose shade that they came out with. So this one is by Laura Mercier, and this is the Translucent Loose Setting Powder Ultra Blur. So this is actually a talc-free powder. And again, they have added some more shades to it. So I don't know if this original shade actually was released last year. I think so. I think this came out in 2024. Forgive me if I'm wrong with that. But this is such an amazing powder. I tried this out once last year, and then I completely forgot about it, and I pulled it out again, and ever since, I'm kind of addicted. I use this all the time. Now, this is actually a travel size, so this is a smaller size, at least. It's 6 grams. So that is still more product than in the Too Faced powder. Because I have so much setting powder, I don't really need to buy like a full size of a setting powder if there is a smaller size available. So this is just such an amazing setting powder. It is gonna blur. It is gonna like just set your makeup into place. It's gonna last for a really long time. I feel like the Too Faced one also performs amazingly, but this one just performs as well. Like, this is really, really, really good. I have her original powder, and to be honest with you, I like both. And I can't wait to actually get this in a rosy shade and more of a pinky shade. The other powder that I actually really, really love is the one by RMS Beauty, and this is the Hydra Setting Powder. This product might not be my favorite one for underneath my eyes, depending on what concealer I'm using. Some concealers, it's no problem at all, but whenever I use the Graphite concealer, especially this one, these two did not get along. Like, I did not like the combination of both of these. However, this is an amazing product, and I think this is such a beautiful powder. This really kept me matte throughout my day. It is also just so skin-like, and whenever I look at this underneath my studio lights, I can see a little bit of shimmer particle. However, this is not something that is going to translate onto your skin. Because when I put this on, I actually feel like it's quite mattifying and I don't see any shimmer. So I don't understand this. Whatever it's in here, it is actually not a glowy shimmer. It is really something that is going to make you look super natural, super smooth. It's not a cakey powder. It's a really, really lovely formula. And actually, whenever I use this, I feel like my foundations, they don't get as oily on me as with some of the other powders that I have that are not as well performing. I feel like all of these three can really keep my oils at bay. So let's actually move on to the next category, and let's move on to the complexion color products. And let's start off with the bronzers. Now, I don't feel like I've tried out like an abundance of bronzers this year compared to the blushes. Like the blush category this year is kind of wild. But the bronzers, I mean, I've got three right in front of me that I ended up really, really enjoying. So maybe let's start off with the cream bronzer. And this is by Too Faced, and it's the Melting Bronzing and Sculpting Stick. For me to continuously reach for a cream bronzer, it has to be something extremely special. And I think this one did hit all of the marks. I've got this one in the shade Chocolate Mousse. I think it's their lightest shade. But man, this undertone is so amazing. This definitely is a little bit more on the neutral, toasty side. Like, you could use this as a contouring shade if you have a warm skin tone. If you have a cool undertone, this is perfect for a bronzer for me, because I definitely have more of a neutral, leaning cool undertone. Look at that shade. It's so amazing. Like, I used this today on the perimeters of my face. Go in with this first on your hand and then take it onto the brush and then slowly apply it. In case you would go overboard with this, don't worry too much, because you can definitely blend this out so, so well. It literally, like, you can't even detect it. When you put this on and you blend it out, it's just one of the best blending cream bronzers I've ever tried in my entire life. And also, it does not disrupt my makeup underneath it. I can put this on top of powder. I can put this underneath powder. It always performs beautifully. It's not patchy. It just looks like my skin. It's just such a perfect formula. And I love this. And considering how pigmented this is and how little I actually need, I feel like this is going to last me a lifetime. And it also smells like Jaffa cakes. Yeah, Jaffa cakes all the way. Oh, okay. Maybe not my favorite scent in the world, but it just reminds me of Jaffa cakes. Now, I also have two powder bronzers because, deep down, I am more of a powder girly than I would be like a liquid or cream sort of girly. I'm definitely more vibing with powders. My favorite powder bronzer that came out last year is definitely this one. This one is by Aramas Beauty, and it's the Redimension Hydra Bronzer. Now they only have 4 shades. I feel like they could do a little bit better with their shade range. I chose the shade Beach Rock Betty, and I think this is, look how much I use this. This is such an amazing bronzer. First off, the undertone is so perfect for my more like neutral leaning cool undertones. This is still a bronzer. It's not going to be a contouring shade. It's a little bit warmer than this stick, okay? But it still works. It's not going to pull orange on me. It just looks rosy, and I just really, really love it. It really gives me just the sun-kissed sort of like warmth to the cheeks. I love this formula. This formula is also not like over the top glowy or shimmery. It just makes your skin look alive. And usually I don't love like glowy powders. I really don't. Some of them are just too much. But this is just perfect. I really also love their blushes. I mean, I love their highlighter, right? But yeah, this was a bronzer that I continuously used this year. I mean, you can tell the Aramas logo has completely vanished by now. And it's just such a forgiving, beautiful bronzer. It's not too pigmented straight off the bat. You can definitely build this one up. Like, this is more of a buildable formula in general. The next one is for those who like a little bit more of pigmentation, and it's also an option from the drugstore, but I've got to say I really, really enjoy this one. So this is by NYX, and it's the Buttermelt Bronzer. This is such an amazing bronze. I've been loving it. I've got the shade All Buttered Up, and to be honest with you, I tried out, I think, 2 other shades, but the shade 02 is my shade. And this is also the one that has more of like pink in it. This is very pigmented, so every time I use this, I'm tapping off my brush on the back of my hand before I'm going onto my skin with it. But this just blends out beautifully. I just really love this. I love the undertone. I love how affordable this is. This performed amazingly, and I'm actually wearing this today. So I actually put this on top of this one, but with a very light hand. So yeah, I really, really have been enjoying this. The only thing that I don't love 100% is the scent of this. This has like quite a strong fragrance in here. It almost smells like coconut lotion or something, although I love coconut, but I think the scent is just a little bit too much. Like, I wish they would have toned it down a little bit when it comes to the fragrance in here. Nonetheless, this is still such a beautiful makeup product, like such a beautiful bronzer, and I love this, and I reached for this quite a lot this year. So those were my 3 bronzers that I've ended up really, really enjoying from this year. So let's move on to the next category, and let's move on to blushes. I feel like it was the year of the blush. So many amazing blushes. I don't even know where to start. I don't know where to start. I was so picky because I could have included some more formulas. So I would say let's actually start off with my favorite sort of category when it comes to blushes. Let's talk about the powder blushes first. So in terms of powder, I do have a glowier powder and I also have one with a matte finish. So let's talk about the glowy powder first. So this one is by Kosas and it's the Blush is Life blush. Another thing is I do have multiple shades in all of these formulas, but I really just wanted to limit myself to my favorite shade, like my all-time favorite shade out of them. I do have 3 with the Kosas blushes, but this is the one that I'm currently wearing, and I just love this shade to death. It's so beautiful. I brought this with me on holiday because I just was like, this is like one of these shades that I really don't own. It's so unique. It's just perfection. And also, this is the one out of the 3 blushes that I've got that has the least glow to it. I feel like the level of sheen in them, the level of glow in these blushes depends on the shade that you're gonna get. I also have Euphoria, for example, and that one is a lot glowier. This one is my favorite one. It's the shade Swoon. Swoon stole my heart this year. Like, I absolutely adore this blush. This is more of like a mauvey, rosy, pinky sort of shade. It almost has a tinge of red in there. Very interesting shade, and I adore this formula. Usually I'm not one for a glowy blush, like I don't love it 100%, you know, but this one I can deal with. I also feel like this is not as glowy as, for example, the RMS Beauty Redimension Hydra blushes that I also love a lot. Really, really beautiful baked formula by Kosas, and yeah, absolutely adore this. The next one, I also love this one so much. It's a very different shade, but I fell in love with this. This is also one that I've continuously used and that I always want to reach for. And this is by Fenty Beauty, and it's the Fenty Cheeks Suede Powder Blush. This is the one with the matte finish. She also has a glowy finish. I do have Drama Class in the glowy finish, but I will say I kind of prefer this shade. This is the shade Baking Cakes. If you like the Hydra Dimension blushes by RMS and you love Maiden's Blush and you want a matte version of that shade, it's the exact same shade, but with a matte finish. So when I got this, I couldn't believe it because this just looks so beautiful on me. This is leaning like a little bit more like rosy, warm, nudish brown. This formula by Fenty is so beautiful because it's so buildable and it just almost looks diffused on your skin. So that's why I immediately knew that this had to be in this video because I've been reaching for this so much. So whenever I'm doing a little bit more of a warmer eye look, I tend to reach for this because like very warm blushes like peach shades or something like that, they tend to not look very flattering on my skin tone. Or orange blushes, like forget about it, okay? Everything that pulls orange does not look great on me. But this I can deal with. And I love it. I think this looks so flattering on me because it has a little bit of this rosy undertone. So let's move on to the next one. And this is more of a different formula. This is what I would call a cream to powder blush. So this is by Sweet Beauty and this is the Air Blush Cream. Oh my gosh, are these beautiful. This is a true cream to powder formula. These are not over the top pigmented. You can definitely build them up, but they are also not like not pigmented at all where you would have to build them up, okay? So my favorite shade out of all of them is the shade Fancy Face. You see, I've been using this so much. This almost has a little bit of a golden sheen, but whenever this goes onto my cheeks, again, it's not like over the top glowy or anything, but it really almost looks like airbrushed. And This is so beautiful. I also pulled out another shade. For this one, I had to pull out two shades that I've been loving. I also love the shade Cheeky, which is a little bit more of that pinky, muted pinky shade. I featured most of these shades in my full face of Sweet Beauty. So let's move on to the category of liquid blushes, and there were so many amazing liquid blushes being released this year. I really said to myself, you know what, I don't want to have more than 3 in this category. I think my favorite one out of all of them is this one. This one is by Huda Beauty, and it's the Blush Filter Liquid Blush, especially this shade right here. This is the shade Strawberry Cream. I love this. This is such a beautiful pink shade, and this formula is so beautiful. I feel like whenever I'm using them, they are so stunning. They are a little bit more on the glowier side, but if they end up looking a little bit too shiny for me, I tend to just go over with a little bit of powder and the problem is solved, right? A little bit more pigmented, I would say. This might be the most pigmented one that I have in this category. But yeah, I love this shade, love the formula, love what this does for my skin. I love how this wears really, really long. Like, this is very, very much performing. So I love this. I also love the next one. And the next one, man, I've been using this quite a lot recently. And this is by Luna Beauty, and it's the Moon Prism Liquid Blush. This one I picked up in Mauve Miami because you guys know I'm a sucker for a good dusty mauve. And this is providing me with the cool tone fantasy. I love the longevity of this liquid blush. Beautiful. Not over the top pigmented, not as pigmented as this one, but still enough pigmentation to work. You know, it's not something that I have to build up and build up and build up. But this, I definitely do build this up a little bit more than my Huda Beauty one. But this is such a beautiful formula. It's also a little bit less glowy, I would say, than my Huda Beauty one. So this definitely has more of a skin-like finish. So yeah, no regrets here. And then the next one is a drugstore option, but this one really deserves to be in here. It's just so, so amazing. So this is by e.l.f. Cosmetics, and it's the Camo Liquid Blush. I actually do have this product in a beautiful shade called Suede Mauve. Again, a mauvey shade. I mean, not quite as cool toned as the Luna Beauty one, but this shade is so stunning. It's so beautiful. And this formula, I mean, for the drugstore, this is amazing. For the price point, like, this is so affordable, quite pigmented, but not in a patchy way, not in a splotchy way, blended out like a dream, looked fantastic on my cheeks. I really, really think this is such an amazing formula, and I've been using this shade quite a lot this year as well. Really love these 3 liquid blushes. So let's move on to the highlighters, and in terms of highlighters, I actually only have 2. 2 that really amazed me, 2 that I constantly reach for and that I love and adore. So my personal favorite one out of the 2 is the Natasha Denona High-Gen Skincare Infused Glow Beautifier. I like something that just looks like wet glow. And this just provides me with a fantasy. This is a very interesting formula. I love this one so, so much. I'm actually wearing this one today. It's a very beautiful sort of like, more like subtle shine. I always use it on my beloved Scott Barnes brush. Like, I honestly just do this. I have to push in the brush a little bit more than with a powder because it's like a cream to powder formula. However, when I try to use this with my fingers, don't do that. Just don't, because it's just going to be too intense. You can definitely build this one up. And I just love how flexible this product is, you know, because you can get like different levels of glow with this, different levels of like shine. So you can make it look very subtle, but you can also make it look very beaming. And I think this shade is also so beautiful. I have the shade Light. Absolutely adore this one. And I also really, really have been loving the next one. Next one is a very different formula though. So this one is by Fenty Beauty, and it's the Demi Glow Light Diffusing Highlighter. I don't know why they call this Demi Glow because this is a beaming highlighter. This is also a baked formula, so it can be a little bit more fragile. I've got this in the shade Too Much 03. They've got this in so many different skin tone shades, but this one works so, so well on me, and I've been loving this one. It's really, again, this very sophisticated, wet sort of glow, but with this, I've got to be a little bit more careful not to use too much, because it's also baked. It comes off quite easily, you know? So whenever you put in the brush, just be careful. Well, it's a very stunning glow. So I really have been loving this highlighter, and I love the shade that I picked up. So let's move on to the next category, which would be the eyes. And I really don't have many products. I have one mascara in this category. I've not tried out any eyebrow products that were blowing off my socks. Nothing. So really, I just have a mascara. But I also just want to say that the eyeshadow palettes, you know, that I've tried out this year are gonna get their own video. I'm gonna be doing a ranking of all of my eyeshadow palettes very, very soon, I promise you. It's still gonna come out in January at some point, where I'm gonna be ranking all of them. So I don't want to spoil you with my number one pick in this video already. Just stay tuned on here. Make sure you're subscribed to not miss out on that video, because it's going to be an exciting one. We are just going to be moving on to the one and only mascara. And this one is by Lisa Eldridge, and it's the Kitten Lash Mascara. This is a bulletproof formula, meaning it's not going to smudge, it's not going to crumble. It's just gonna be on your lashes until the end of the day, and it's not gonna do something weird. This one is exactly what I love. It is very separating, it is very lengthening. I am actually wearing this mascara today. I love it. I really love it, but I feel like mine is on its last leg, so it's almost empty. I really used this quite a lot this year, and I actually did purchase a backup, because I love it and I don't want to be without it. It's a silicone brush, but it has a little bit of a curve. It's really, really lovely, and it really gets in there, and it's separating, and again, such a bulletproof formula. So this really deserves to be in this video, and also it just goes to show how much I love it, because I did repurchase it. I really, really like this one. So that's it for the eyes category. I'm so sorry if this was very underwhelming, but just rest assured, my palette ranking is gonna come up. I think the next category was even worse to pick out the products than with the blushes. I feel like 2024 really was the year of the blush and the lip products. So I've got so many lip products right in front of me. I think the way that we are going to be doing this is that we're going to be starting off with some lip treatments, then some lip oils, then maybe a gloss, and then we're going to be moving on to more like bullet lipsticks. I mean, I've got so much right here that I ended up adoring that it makes it really, really hard to condense this category. Let's actually start off with maybe a lip overnight mask that I recently purchased, and I love this. I really, really adore this, and this is by ColourPop, and this is the Waffle Lip Mask. So this was a collaboration with Stranger Things, and this lip mask is so good. Like, oh my goodness. I had a lip mask by them from their Beauty and the Beast collaboration, but that one had a weird rose scent, and I wasn't about that. And if you have to understand one thing about me, and maybe you're going to be seeing that, like with the selection of the products that I included for this category, I adore a good gourmand sort of like flavor to my lips. Like, I like chocolate, I like vanilla, I like all of these types of things, like anything that is kind of sweet and like yummy. I adore that. So this waffle lip mask, amazing. This is so hydrating, it's so nourishing, and it's not going to break your bank. It is such a good lip mask. Whenever I put this on in the morning, I do wake up and I'm like, wow, my lips are so nourished. So, the scent is divine. I really love it. When this goes onto my lips, I kind of want to eat it, which is like a common thing, that if something is so tasty and so yummy that I want to eat it, and if the formula is spot on, it's going to be a product that I adore. So this lip mask by ColourPop is just so yummy and so great, and you're going to get so much product. One that I discovered recently, and I'm not sure if this came out last year, but I think maybe this flavor was released last year. Don't quote me on it. I'm not sure with this product, but I wanted to include it. Is the Pout Preserve Peptide Lip Treatment by Ole Henriksen. This is the strawberry taste. I also have one with cacao, and I don't really love that. I don't really love that taste, but the strawberry one, oh my gosh, this is such an amazing, amazing formula. It's thick, cushiony, and I honestly use this as an overnight lip mask as well. I usually put this on right before I'm going to bed. I know it has a tint, but at this point in time I really don't care. The tint is very, very light on this, so I don't mind. But I use this quite a ton, and I really have been enjoying it. It is super nourishing, really conditioning for your lips. But so is the next product. And I think the next one, I just prefer that one a little bit more, especially this flavor in particular. Oh my gosh. Whenever I put this on my lips, I'm like, girl, you just want to eat it. And this product definitely wasn't released in 2024. I actually did purchase it when it was released, and that was in 2022, if I'm not mistaken. But ever since, they have expanded their flavors. So this is by Summer Fridays, of course, and it's the Lip Butter Balm. And this one in particular is the flavor Hot Cocoa. This is a cocoa lip product done right. Do you guys know how many sickening cocoa chocolate sort of like products there are out there? None of them got it right, but this one is one that I want to eat. I even heard some people saying that this was too sweet for them. Oh, it's not too sweet for me. Give me all the sweetness in the world as long as it's really, really close to the real thing. And this, every time I have this on my lips, I just want, yeah, I want to eat it. It's that good. But this formula, it's amazing. First off, you're gonna get 15 grams of product. That's a hell lot of product. This is the one that is the most hydrating. I feel like this really, really hydrates your lips. And this one also has a little bit more of that brownish tint. However, it's a very like sheer pigment, I would say. But this shade in particular, you can see it a little bit more. I also love the brown sugar one. That one is also so yummy. So those two are my favorite sort of like flavors from Summer Fridays. They also came out with an iced coffee one, which I also adore. I mean, yeah, all of these gourmandise type of like products by Summer Fridays, love them. So these were all of the lip treatment products. So let's actually move over to lip oils. And 2024 was definitely the year of the lip oils. And I've got two formulas here. I really tried to be very, very, very picky. So the very first one that I absolutely enjoy is the one by Nabla, and it's a lip candy oil. They are high shine. They are a little bit more like cushiony on the lips, a little bit more like jelly. These are not gonna like run away on your lips immediately. They are not like that really thin formula that I don't enjoy. This is the honey taste and this is grape. And they also have lychee, but I'm not the biggest fan of lychee. If I would have to decide on one of them, I think I would go with the grape one. This does not like taste synthetic. It really tastes like fresh grapes. How cute is this packaging? Y2K all the way. Just love them. The next Y2K product that I ended up loving so much. I mean, oh my gosh, you guys know that I love this. So this one is by Too Faced and it's the Kissing Jelly Gloss. This is like a hybrid in between like a lip oil and a lip gloss. I actually did purchase a couple more of these because this was my OG one and my gosh, it might still be my favorite one, to be honest with you. This is the cotton candy one. This is the blue one. It's not gonna be pulling blue, like a visible blue on your lips. It's very, very sheer. I honestly cannot stop using this. I really, really love this formula. It's just high shine, nourishing, cushiony, almost like jelly. Such an amazing formula. These are just fun products. I also pulled out another shade that I really, really like. I mean, they pull pretty much like translucent on my lips, but this is the Juicy Watermelon one. Watermelon is another one of these tastes that I adore, but it can't be a sickening one. This is like fresh watermelon and I love it. So let's move on to maybe a lip gloss that I've been loving. I don't hear anyone raving about this, but it's definitely mention worthy because this is stunning. This is so beautiful and I did not expect it. But this is by e.l.f. Cosmetics and it's the Sun Boss Gloss. So this is actually a gloss that comes with an SPF of 25. This actually does include zinc oxide, so it's a mineral SPF. And this is such a beautiful gloss formula. It's cushiony, jelly, thick. It's not sticky, not tacky, none of that. It's not too thin that it would just like disappear in a couple of seconds. This is there to stick around and I've got such a beautiful shade. It's your mauve. Oh my gosh. It's just this beautiful brown mauve shade. It actually has quite some pigment to it. I was really surprised when I used this. And also, you cannot taste the SPF. And I forgot to talk about the lip liners. I forgot to talk about the lip liners. I actually wanted to start off this category with the lip liners. See how many products I've got here? I completely forgot about them. Oh no. So let's actually insert them here. Now there are only two formulas that came out in 2024. And one of them, honestly, it came out in late 2023. but they kind of had a shade expansion. So I wanted to put it in today's video as well because it was in my favorites of 2023 already. But this shade is new. So this is actually by Sweet Beauty, and this is the lip liner, and this specific shade is the shade Rose Thorn. I love this lip liner. This lip liner is so beautiful. I will say this shade is just something so special because I don't have many more like rosy red brownish shades, but I do have some lip color products that actually do require a liner like this. So I was really stunned when they came out with this product. Now I will also mention this is the only product that I received in PR in this entire video. This is the shade right here. It's such a beautiful rosy sort of like nude brown shade, exactly up my alley. And I was really missing like a lip liner in this kind of tone from my collection. I also really love the shade Cindy. I also love the shade Barely There by them. They've got some really beautiful shades, and this formula is amazing because this lip liner, it is not too creamy, it is not too stiff. It's just a perfect in between, and it's just so stunning. Another formula that actually came out last year, and this is by Lisa Eldridge, and it's the Sculpt and Shade Lip Pencil. Previously, she had, I think, a lip liner. I also had one of them, but that lip liner was corresponding to all of her lipsticks. So it was the exact same shade as her lipsticks. And I actually want a little bit of contrast when it comes to a lip liner. I kind of want something that is just a little bit deeper, than my lipstick or my lip color, whatever I'm using. So I was really happy to see that she expanded on her lip liner range, and I honestly will say I love these. I've got two beautiful shades. I've got this in the shade ON and 1N. This ON is like a beautiful, cool-toned, beigey shade. It's so beautiful. And I also got the shade 1N, and that's the one that I'm wearing today, which will pull a little bit more warm, and it's a little bit deeper than this one. This one is a little bit lighter, so whenever I'm wearing like a really light sort of lip color, I can pull this one off. But yeah, I absolutely adore these lip liners. They are fantastic. All right, so let's actually move on to some lip color products. The next two formulas were actually not released in 2024. They came out in 2023, but they expanded the color shade range. So I have to include these. I have to, because the shades are so beautiful, so stunning, and I love these formulas. And I think I've used them so much this year. These might be my favorite lip color products, like ever, especially the next formula. You may know I've been raving about this entire year on my channel. I absolutely adore them. So this is by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is the Lip Velvet. So this is made in heaven. It's a product made in heaven for me. I've been wearing this maybe 90% of the time. And I've been asked so many times, what is on your lips whenever I was wearing one of these? I have 9 shades. 9 shades. Now, some of the shades pull a little bit similar, but they still have a little bit of a different depth level, or they have a little bit of a different undertone to them. But my absolute favorite shade, I love the shade Pale Mauve. Pale Mauve, again, this beautiful dusty mauvey shade. This works with so many looks that I'm doing, especially I love a good cool toned eye look. So whenever I'm doing that, I tend to reach for this because I know it's safe and it's beautiful. These are like a souffle, really. They are velvet on your lips. They just feel so amazing, like a cushion on your lips. It's like a cloud on your lips. They also do have a lot of pigment to them. They have a lot of longevity to them. They don't completely dry down. It's not like a liquid lipstick, because I don't love a liquid lipstick that is literally enhancing all of your lines, but I love a good matte blurring finish. The next product is also one that I absolutely adore. This was also, to my knowledge, released in 2023. The shades that they had in their original lineup weren't that beautiful, but they came out with like a nude collection this year. And this is actually by Aramas Beauty, and it's the legendary Serum Lipstick. This is the shade Jane. Love this shade. And I also picked up recently the shade May. Oh my gosh, these are fantastic. Like when they go on, they actually have a little bit of a shine to them. And they also have a cooling effect to them. I've never tried out a product like this. This is so unique in often the products that I've got, which is very hard to do. And the thing is, after initial application, when you wear them a little bit longer, I feel like they just turn into the most beautiful, matte, blurring lipstick ever. These are fantastic, especially these nude shades. I feel like they really nailed it with these new tones. But maybe my favorite bullet lipstick that came out, and I know this is a splurge, but this one is the formula that I loved the most, and it's what I'm wearing today on my lips. And this is by Hourglass, and it's the Unlocked Matte Lipstick. Oh my gosh, do I love these. I don't like the satin lipsticks. Like, those were not my favorite ones, but when they came out with matte lipsticks this year, I could not resist. I could not resist. I also have another shade called Peony. This is my favorite one though. This is the shade Sparrow. I'm wearing this today on my lips and I love it. I've been wearing this and talking with this for hours and hours on end, and this lipstick still is on my lips. It won't go anywhere. It is blurring. It is beautiful. And the shade is everything. It's just such a pretty rosy brown shade. I love this so, so much. Let me actually reapply. Mm. So blurring. I mean, this is such a beautiful matte lipstick, and this feels so comfortable on my lips. And funny enough, I did not like their lip liners, but their lipstick is amazing, and I want more shades. I really do. But again, I feel like I already have my favorite shade, because this is really like a shade that I think is so stunning. So yeah, those were all of my products. Let me know, have you tried out any of the products that were featured in today's video? Are you agreeing with me? Are you disagreeing with me? I would love to hear also, what was your favorite makeup product from 2024? If you do have multiple, let me know in the comment section down below. You guys know I'm always looking forward hearing from you, and I really, really hope that 2025 is also gonna bring us some amazing makeup releases. I'm looking forward trying out more makeup on this channel. So if you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and also ring the bell in order to get notified about my upcoming videos. And my eyeshadow palette ranking is gonna come up on here very, very soon, so just stay tuned for that one. And until next time, please do take care. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.